All right, welcome everybody. What is up? Welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see, we are here in Hoenn. We are in Slateport City. Why did I say Sutopolis? We're in Slateport City, Channel 1. You can actually see another YouTuber here, Petrowski, is here fishing as well. I'm going to be pretty much just joining him. So interesting that, you know, he and a bunch of his buddies, I guess, are just here fishing as well. So yeah, I'm just out here fishing some whaler. But I wanted to make a video about just some of the most common questions and just a very quick answer. Now, you know, because of the extent of how deep some of these questions can be and stuff like that, like I'm going to be covering a lot of the basic stuff and a lot of, you know, kind of advanced stuff as well. So, you know, hopefully you're along with me for the journey. I just want to say that, like, I'm probably not going to answer every single question like to the absolute T, to the deepest part I possibly can, because of how this is going to work. It's just going to be way too long a video. This is already going to be one of the longer videos. My past couple videos, you guys have really seemed to dig, so I just wanted to, you know, give you guys that much as well. So yeah, if you enjoy the video, if you enjoy and if you learn anything, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you're new. All that stuff is free and helps out the channel a lot. The channel's been doing really good recently, so I just want to keep that up. But anyway, let's get into my top 20 questions. All right, so starting us off here at number 1, how do I play PokeMMO? The most basic question, you see this everywhere. Basically, you go to PokeMMO.com, you download the game from there. It's going to be a separate application, as you can see on the screen right now. And then you find the ROMs on your own. I'm not going to tell you how to get them, any sites or anything like that, because you can get in trouble for that, but it's not that hard to find. You load them in. Again, there's YouTube videos on how to do that as well. And then there's separate like mods and sprites. Another question I get all the time is like, how do your Pokemon look like this, right? Like, how come your Whalmer looks so much like cleaner, so much newer than mine, right? Because if you boot up the game right now, your Whalmer will not look like this guy right here. So yeah, that's why it's basically called a Gen 5 sprite mod. That's all you got to do. You just look it up through there, and you'll be able to see how to make your followers look like this, how to make your Pokemon look like this. All right, so that's the first question. Number 2 is actually going to be, what region should I start with? Now, this is going to depend on your ultimate goal, whether it's PvP, making money, breeding, you know, like whatever the case may be. Like, it really is going to depend. I made a separate video on this, and honestly, I made a separate video on a lot of these questions, so I will, you know, defer you guys to certain videos if I made them already on the channel. And if I didn't, I'm probably planning to make it, honestly. But honestly, in my personal opinion, I think Kanto is probably the easiest to start with. Most people played Kanto as kids growing up, and so they're, like, you know, the most familiar with that, whether it be through Leaf Green or Fire Red or like even like Pokemon Red or Yellow. I think following that is most likely going to be Unova, just because of how many things you can do in the Unova region. Unova is very good for, you know, breeding. It's good for EV training. It's good for money making. So there's just a lot of things you can do in Unova. Following that is going to be Hoenn, and then lastly is going to be Sinnoh. So if you want my personal take on it, again, you do what you want when you play through the story, but my personal take is going to be Kanto, Unova, Hoenn, and Sinnoh. Number 3 is going to be, what do I do after the story? So there's a couple of things you can do. I also made a video on this. This is a very popular question that a lot of people who like finished one storyline or all 4 storylines commonly ask. There's 3 main things that you can do. And there's a lot more than 3, but these are the 3 main things I would say. So first up, PvP. Okay, get into PvP battles. If you don't know how, you click this Pokeball down here on the bottom right of my screen here. Click PvP, click matchmaking sign up, and then you can sign up literally for any of these. Did I just miss being able to run? Okay, that was crazy. I never seen that before. Anyway, yeah, you can check like overused or ranked or casual. Don't do casual. I don't think anybody actually plays casual. But if you want to get started, you know, there's a lot of things you can do. You can check the leaderboards. I think it is statistics. Yeah, so if you check statistics, you can check which branch you want to use. So say UU, and then like basically Salamence, and then it tells you literally like the top. Well, my Salamence is a little too big here, but yeah, it tells you like your top abilities, some of the main items you use, some of the main moves. The moveset should be here somewhere. I'm not actually sure where it is. Maybe it's here or something. I don't know. I can't really see because the Salamence is blocking it all. But yeah, that's kind of what you want to do if you wanted to do PvP and just kind of get into it. I think At a certain point, I will step into PvP, but I don't plan on being like a hugely like only PvP kind of thing only. I don't plan on doing that. But yeah, that's the first thing you could do. You could also shiny hunt. This is pretty much what I'm doing right now. As you can tell in the top right hand of your screen, there is an encounter counter. I'm at 40,900. A lot of this is Axew and Woobat, and then a lot of that is Beldum eggs. Those are my main shiny hunts right now. I'm kind of just taking a break while recording because Wailmer is very mindless. I don't need to waste Leba berries, and you know, there's a lot of people here, so it's kind of cool just chilling with these people. But yeah, it's good for like just kind of passing the time while recording a video, because it's better than just, you know, sitting around while recording a video. And on the off chance that I do get a shiny Wailmer on screen, that would be kind of crazy. So that's something to look forward to as well. And I'd say the last thing that people can do after the story, after all stories, is to make money. You can see here I have about 700,000, a little shy of 700,000 Pokeyen, which is very, very little. I actually just spent a lot of it on this guy, this White Rabbit plush. I literally spent 30 million Pokeyen on that. I did have to drop in-game or like real life money to get it, but I just really wanted it, just because it's something I really want. I don't think I'm gonna switch this for a long time, if I ever. And I also have some other like Golden Rabbit mask and other stuff like that too, if I ever feel like I want to switch. And honestly, this thing is probably going to sell for a lot going forward. If I check the GTL right now, yeah, it's selling for about 30 mil. I mean, honestly, I could sell this for like, honestly, if I waited like a year or something like that, it could like double. It could go up for like another 15 mil or something like that. So I see it as an investment as well as something that's just cool to have and something that not a lot of people have. So I really dig that. But anyway, yeah, that's it for after the story. You can PvP shiny hunt, or make money. Those are the three main things I do. Let's speed it up here. Number 4, where are legendaries? So I made a video on this. I think I made 2 videos on this. Certain ones exist in the game, but they are temporary, and many are not implemented in the game. You know, a lot of people ask, where are the birds? Where are the dogs? You know, the Raikou, the Zapdos, that kind of stuff. Guys, it's not in the game, okay? You know, they'll go to the spots where they're supposed to be, like Seafoam Island or the power plant, and they'll be like, hey, where are the birds? It's not in the game. Just so you guys know, they're not in the game. They are roaming legendaries, and they are only temporary. Like, you can only hold on to them for a temporary amount of time. Next up, IVs versus nature. So if you click on any Pokemon, you can see a nature here. So this guy's hardy. That's a bad example. Let's see if this guy, okay, impish. So this Meganium has impish nature, right? And so if you hover over it, because I don't remember all of them, it'll tell you what it's good at, what it's bad at. So it's usually a plus 10% of one, minus 10% of another. And this is very useful for certain Pokemon, because like, for instance, if I check Meganium, would be helpful if I didn't do 2 things at once, but I'm just like that. Meganium, if you check its base stats, you can see special defense is really good, defense is really good, everything else is kind of mediocre, right? So if I wanted to, I have no idea if this is like an actual like good setup or not, but I believe impish boosts defense. So like I could like theoretically train this guy to make him like basically a tanky defense Pokemon, so he could just like hold up against tanks and stuff like that, hold up against a lot of physical attacks. That's useful for maybe not Meganium, but maybe like a Blissey or a Chansey, something like that, if you wanted to go into PvP, or if you just wanted to go into gym battles. So nature is very, very important, because this 10% matters so much more than if you went to the Pokemon's IVs and you saw like a 31 here, 31 here, something like that. If it's like a nature that hurts its attack, like say for instance I had 31 attack on this, but I had a minus 10% nature or even a neutral nature, it would not be nearly as strong as otherwise. So in a quick synopsis, nature matters way, way, way more than you think. IVs matter, but not as much as nature. Next up, how do I get a shiny Pokemon? Basically, you can do what I'm doing right now. Single encounter, you can hunt through hordes, which is basically Pokemon that use the move Sweet Scent, which is why I have this Meganium here. I would hotkey it as well, just so you guys know. I would also PP max it if you weren't familiar with what that is, just to give it more PP. So Sweet Scenting is definitely the fastest way. You can definitely run into 3 times hordes and 5 times horde, which is going to make things like way faster for you. or you can single encounter, kind of like what me and all these people above me are doing. How long does it take to get a shiny Pokemon? About 30,000 encounters. As you can tell here, I'm about 40,000 encounters in, which means I'm technically over quote-unquote odds. Doesn't exactly work like that, but you know, around 30 hours of dedicated shiny hunting time is when you can expect it. Again, this is on average, okay? Some people are going to get it in 100,000, some people are going to get it in 5,000, okay? So you never really know. Some people get it, some people get a shiny, and then in the next 100 encounters they get another shiny. Like, it's just that RNG, it's just that crazy. Some people breed eggs, and in a stack of like 360 they'll get 2 shinies, which is unheard of because most people spend like 3 years just to get 1 from an egg, and that's literally 3 years of like dedicated egg hunting time. But that's besides the point. Hopefully that's not me. Pray for me, guys. Next up, where can I find a certain Pokemon? This is a very common question as well. There are a lot of guides online where Pokemon are. However, if you don't want to use those, or if you don't want to, you know, see it for some reason, click N on your keyboard. This will bring up the Pokédex, and then basically if you want to check, like, as long as you've seen it. So for instance, let's see a Pokemon that I have seen. I guess this Porygon Z, yeah, that's Porygon 2, that's not a good example. Miltank, for instance, Miltank. So I've seen a Miltank, but I don't currently own my own Miltank. You can see it's in the Safari Zone at these levels at a very rare rarity. So yeah, Hoenn Safari Zone in the grass. Tells you a lot of information about it. So even though I don't have my own Miltank, that's where you can find one. So yeah, definitely very useful information there. And again, just looking online, like, where can I find Beldum? Where can I find Ditto? You know, stuff like that. It'll show up. Either a video will show up or a specific guide that will definitely help you out. How do I switch regions? Well, there's 3 or 4 main cities, I guess. So if you want to go, of course, this happens right when I'm trying to hit the map button. But in every region, there is one like boat basically that will let you transfer between regions. So that's the main way to do it. In Hoenn, it's actually where I am right now in Slateport City. You just go up to here and then up here, and you just talk to this guy and he'll tell you like Kanto, Sinnoh, Unova, and then from there you can basically check and go to a certain spot. So yeah, let me go back into the water real quick and keep going. Yeah, that's a common question I get, but that's a very simple one to answer. How much is my Pokemon worth? This is a very deep question, you know, and I can't really answer that fully. There is a price checking video on my channel. If you haven't watched that, I highly recommend it. I know Petrowski made a price checking guide as well, so go check that out if you want. Other than that, I would just ask in global chat. I would ask in your team or on Discord, and just basically the more accustomed to it, the more you get it. Basically, the way I'd recommend it is like you look up exactly what your Pokemon is and see the nearby prices for it. So for instance, this Bayonet, right? It's about, let's see. It is about 31. Okay, can this like move? Okay, it's 31 IV, 31 speed. It's got Frisk. It's got, you know, Adamant Nature. So, you know, even sometimes you check mail. You just basically check every single stat for it and then type all that into your GTL in the advanced search button. You know, mail. Just type Bayonet, right? 31 attack, 31 speed. I think it was Adamant I said, and it has Frisk, so let's not check that just yet. And boom, you can see like, okay, here's an Adamant Bayonet level 100. Okay, it's about 255,000, which is very cheap actually. And yeah, that's basically it. That's basically how people are going to, you know, find your Pokemon. That's basically, so, you know, you see that 255k, you're probably like, okay, I'll just sell it for like 1 Pokeyen less or something like that. And there you go, that's how you sell it. Let's talk about what are EVs. So EVs are actually things you can train yourself. So if I wanted to, I could go to my Bayonet. As you can tell here, EV 252, Speed 252. These are basically stat boosts gained from defeating wild Pokemon or from vitamins. So each Pokemon can get 510 max, and they can be actually removed. So if you wanted to de-EV train something, you could. But basically, it helps specialize and make your like specific Pokemon stronger in an area that you want. So if you wanted to like make this a super fast Pokemon, you just train it up in speed. And there's guides on that as well. There's like EV spots like in Unova and things like that, and Hoenn, that would definitely help you out there. How does breeding work? This is a very, very deep question. I have a breeding guide on my channel. Definitely go check that out. Basically, female determines the species, and then male determines like the egg group. So if you wanted to make a 31-31 or a 2x31 or something like that, that's how you would do it. You'd get a female of the type that you want, and then a male egg breeder of the sort. But in its simplicity's sake, that's kind of all it is. And there's certain items that keep the IVs on, or keep like a nature on or something like that. Again, all that is going to be in a separate video. So yeah, go check that out. How do I evolve or moveset certain Pokemon? So movesets, I would recommend checking out on a website called Bulbapedia. I'd also recommend checking out egg moves. So if you wanted to breed a certain Pokemon, what's a good example? I'm trying to think what's a good example. I guess Blastoise maybe. So if you wanted to check Blastoise all the way down here, you can see these moves down here are egg moves, right? Water Spout, Yawn, Refresh, Mud Sport. So basically for these, they would need to be like, this Pokemon needs to have been bred and as an egg, and then from there it would learn whatever it is. So that's how you do specific egg moves. I'm not going to cover that in this video. This is a very deep concept for such a beginner video, but yeah, that's the moveset part. Again, check Bulbapedia. Another thing about evolutions, if you ever wanted like a Gengar or an Alakazam, I would either recommend checking for community mods, like go into global chat down here and just be like, hey, can anyone help me evolve something? Or, excuse me, another thing you can do is just check in a Discord. Obviously use your team if you're on a team to help with trades. Next up, what are swarms and phenos? Again, made a video on this, but basically Pokemon that appear in the overworld for a short period of time. They're usually in a group of 4. Phenos are Unova exclusive, and they're basically like just a moving tile that you can like run over and tap A on, and it'll show like a specific Pokemon, like Emolga or something like that. Some Pokemon only show up in phenos, so keep that in mind if you're trying to fill out your Pokédex. But yeah, swarms are pretty common. Alpha swarms are also about twice a day, I believe. So alpha Pokemon are definitely worth more. I'm not going to talk about alphas in this video because that's also a little complicated. Here's a quick question I can answer. How do I change channels? You go down here to this book, you type community V, and then third one here, change channel. So that's pretty much it. Along with that, you can see your team and stuff like that. Yeah, roster, you can see who's all on your team, permissions, all that stuff. So yes sir, that's that for a team. I'm on Team Legend, for those of you who are curious about that. What is happiness? So every Pokemon, when you right click, is going to show on the second bar. So this is the main screen. The second screen, happiness, you can see 100%. Basically, is there any indicator here? No, there's not. Basically, some Pokemon evolve through being happy, like for instance, like Togepi, or like rare, like baby Pokemon, stuff like that. They'll evolve through happiness. Other Pokemon, the happier they get, I don't think some of it matters, I guess, but like you can go to Daisy in Kanto region, in Kanto, not Kanto, in Palatown, yeah. I was blanking what the name was. You can go to Palatown, talk to Daisy, which I believe is Gary's mom or sister, and from there you can get groomed. Your Pokemon will get groomed, and you just increase your Pokemon that way. Otherwise, you can increase your happiness through berries. How do I make money? There is a lot of different things that you can do. Gym runs, Ditto boxes, catching specific Pokemon for profit, catching specific items for profit, Elite Four battles, GTL flipping. Like, there's a lot of things you can do. I made a video on this as well. Go check it out. But in short, there's like a couple of ideas right there if you want to do so. What is a Ditto Box? A Ditto Box is a box of 60 bad IV Dittos that are used for breeding purposes only. When people want to egg breed something, like for instance for me, for what's it called, for Beldum or any rare Pokemon, the best way to get a shiny of it is by breeding. And so if you have 60 bad IV Dittos, you can just send them over to someone, and they'll take advantage of that and go ahead and breed. And they usually sell for about 220 to 240k, I would say. So if you're selling around that time, around that number, you should be good to go in that sense. That's that. How long is the gym rerun timer? About 18 hours. So you can, in theory, do 2 in a day, kind of ish. Like you say like 6 hours. It's a little finicky there, but about 18 hours is the gym rerun timer. So, you know, say you beat Brock at like, you know, 6 p.m. one day, you can beat him again. You can't really, you know, interact with him. You can't really beat him again until 18 hours from there. And the last question, we are finally almost done here. How are eggs hatched? I know I get this question a lot. This is very common. 5 minutes roughly, depending on the species. Some species are longer. You get a 20% boost if you're leading your Pokemon with a Pokemon with magma armor or flame body. And important note, this is not influenced by walking. I know a lot of the main games, you have to walk back and forth and stuff like that. You don't have to in this game. As long as you're leading your Pokemon party with magma armor or flame body, you get that 20% boost, and you just sit there. You basically just sit there, go AFK, put on a stream, put on a video, play another game, whatever, you know, go talk to a friend, and then you just sit there and then wait for those eggs to hatch. That, my friends, is 20 questions here in PokeMMO. Let's see how long that ended up being. About 20 minutes. Okay, so not super long. But yeah, that's about it for the video. A very just, you know, casual, beginner-friendly video. Just wanted to answer some of the main questions. I know, you know, for the questions where I say like, oh, just go check out a video of mine, like seriously, that's the best way to do it. There's no point in me reiterating exactly what I said. So, you know, if you're frustrated by that or whatever, I would just say go check out the video. If you like, if you want to, go check through my channel, or just search something on YouTube. You know, you'll probably see a lot of answers to a lot of the most common questions that have already been answered. But yeah, man, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Okay, I really appreciate the recent support. Like I said, the channel's been growing really well. But with all that being said, leave a comment in the comment section if you agree or disagree with anything I said. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace, and good luck out there. Peace.